Hey everyone, Miss Garcia again. I'm going to be doing a quick demo on how to start your practice sheet to get ready for your grid assignment that you're going to be working on. So remember, you're doing your project based on some type of celebrity or cartoon character or portrait from a photo that you've edited or a black and white photo that you've used for the project. So this is a good start to kind of get warmed up to see how you can basically scale an image. You're gonna be making yours a little larger, but this practice sheet is really important to understanding how to start out. So make sure you do this first before you start on your project, so that way you get an idea of how everything works. Now, basically what it's telling you to do here is use the grid to enlarge the picture by drawing the same thing on the corresponding squares. Some hints for you: draw slowly, draw one square at a time, move from left to right, and include contour lines. And contour lines means the outline of the design that you're making. So just the line itself of the object that you are redrawing. That's what a contour line is. And a lot of artists use contour line to learn how to draw. That's how we start. So you're going to get the choice to pick whatever three you want to choose. I will say by difficulty, this would be the easiest, and this would be, kind of medium. This one probably the most difficult for a lot of students that I've noticed. But based on, what you want to learn, you can pretty much, go from there. So I'm going to start out with the Darth Vader one, because a lot of students are very successful with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number and letter my box. I'm going to go A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I could do the same for this one: A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the first thing it tells me to do here is to draw slowly. So, and then also draw the same thing on the corresponding square. So what they mean by that is I'm looking at 1B and I'm drawing what I see in here into 1B here. So I'm looking, and one thing you want to keep in mind is the distance between those lines. So for example, this spot right here, I'm trying to get that same distance, but obviously I'm stretching it out a little bit more. So what I can do is I can basically, just look back and forth and be like, okay, this is kind of close to the top, but not really. So I'm going to put a little dot there to just tell me that's where I'm going to start. And then over here, this part, I have just a little bit of a gap from this line to where the top of his helmet is. So I have to look back at my paper and be like, okay, I think it's right about there. So again, the distance needs to be the same that you see here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect this line and I'm going to move it this way. Now, another thing to keep in mind is what we call the negative space, and that's everything that is on the outside of that object. I'm trying to replicate this shape into here too, so I can make sure I'm looking at that to make sure it's accurate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make kind of like a curve, and I'm doing a light sketch at first just to make sure that, if I mess up, I can erase it easily. So I'm looking back at my shape here, and I'm looking at my shape here. It looks pretty accurate, so I think I'm done, with that part. Now I've got this other stuff happening in here. This looks like this is part of the highlight of his helmet, so I want to start drawing that. Now again, I'm looking at, where those points are inside of here. I'm looking inside of this space, and it looks like this is really close to the top of his helmet, and it kind of points upward, almost like it's a bending triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my little point here, kind of about this much space, and then it goes all the way to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go all the way where it basically combines at this point. It looks something like this. And obviously I don't have to get every single little thing to look the same in here. I can do some changes. It's only for the faces of people that you want to be very cautious with to make sure that's accurate. So here I'm going to go here. It looks like there's kind of some width here to this, so I'm going to make another little dot. And then this is going to converge up here with this spot. And then what I want to do is, it's black, so I'm going to color this in with my pencil. And then I look back and I'm like, okay, that actually looks pretty good. So it looks like I have one more thing inside of this box. It's this little, all the way at the corner right here. It's basically just a little curve. So I'm just going to go, it's right at the corner. I'm just going to make a little curve that goes like this, and then I'm going to color it in. And so now I'm done with my first box, which is B1. Obviously, I don't have anything in this box, so I don't need to draw anything in there. It's very important that you're drawing what you see in each box to be able to get an accurate image, because if you shift it, it's going to warp your whole image and it's not going to look like the person you're trying to draw. It's very important. You do have to take your time, and if you need to, you can even, you know, take a piece of paper so you don't get distracted, and you can cover it so that way you don't get distracted with what you're drawing. You can trick your brain that way too. So I'm going to go to the next one. I'm just going to try to do just the top row here for you, and then so I'm going to go to 1C, and then this is going to go looking like, this is starting here obviously, and then this goes down a little bit, so I would say, you know, maybe around right here, not all the way halfway, but just partly. And I'm going to make a curve that goes this way, that's following that point that I made. And then inside I have some shapes happening in here, and it almost to me looks like a beak from a bird. So I can start here, and then it looks like it kind of comes about maybe somewhere around here. It's pretty much almost touching the bottom of this square. So that means I have to go all the way down here, and then the distance from here to here, it's not halfway, so mine would go past the halfway point. So I'm going to go right about here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my curve, and I'm trying to copy that shape that I see here. So I'm going to curve this. And again, I'm trying to kind of make a beak looking thing. So I'm looking at my picture here, this right here, and I'm trying to copy this. And this, it looks like it kind of is a little flat, and then it curves right at the end there. So I have to make sure I'm making that shape right too. And then I can go ahead and color this in. And this was pretty much a really easy one because we only had to draw just a couple of things in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and shade all this in here so I know it's kind of starting to form the shape that I want so my brain doesn't get confused. And then I have just literally one thing I need to draw in B. So 1D. So this is all the way, just basically a curve at the corner that goes downward like this. That's literally all you're drawing in that box. Now, when you're doing this, this is basically the same method you're going to do for your grid. So there's no difference there. The only thing that's changing is the size. You're going to be going a little larger, but the concept is still the same. And this is a method that a lot of artists, including Chuck Close himself, use to help him how to draw. And so you basically would continue to do this same method here. I'm going to try to do as much as I can in under 10 minutes and, you know, just kind of talk here and there about what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and actually start on B2 because it looks like this connecting here, and that way I can make sure it's accurate. So it's just a little tiny corner here. You'll see just that little bit. It's almost like a little triangle in the corner. I'm going to make a line that goes there. And then now this is connecting to this box, so I'm trying to draw this shape. And now you really have to pay attention where, like, how far things are from the square itself, those corners. And it looks like this kind of curves, and then this goes down, and then it kind of goes up a little bit like this, and then it'll curve, and it's getting a little closer to the top area. It's kind of somewhere around here. And then I'm going to make this wider, kind of following this shape, and then this closes there, and then I just color all this in here. So again, you're trying to see where is it located inside of the box. How close is it to the top? How close is it to the bottom and the sides? And that's where you're going to get the accuracy from your picture. And then up at the top here, all it does is it's just a little curve that goes like this. That connects to this top part here. And then we have this part, it's like a little, kind of like a little reflection. So it's kind of like at an angle. And I'm just going to fill that in. It's kind of closer to the top part of this. And then here, I would start maybe about right here because it's this close to this part, and then it goes and it follows up here, and it curves, and it goes all the way to the corner over here. So I'm going to go all the way this way, like that. And then here, we have kind of like this little square inside, and it's sort of close to the edge, but not really. And it's kind of rounded and flat. So it goes like that. And then this part curves, goes down in an angle, and then curves. And again, everything is a shape in here. And remember, the distance between these things is very important. So make sure you're looking at both boxes back and forth to make sure you're putting these shapes in the right spot inside of the box. You can't just put them anywhere because they're all eventually going to connect to each other, and those puzzle pieces have to line up properly or you're not going to get an accurate image. All right, so I'm going to move back this way. I know it tells you to go. Sorry, that's the bell. You're gonna go from left to right, and then so you know, I didn't do that, but whatever. It's just you know, go with what your gut is basically. You know me, I'm really bad at following rules and stuff. I always forget to tell you guys to take your hats off in class. That's one thing that I'm pretty bad at. And then here, this will curve and go down, and then you color this in. So that's the front part of his helmet, and you'll start to see it. If you just cover this part here, you'll see that everything is supposed to be where it's at, where those pieces are supposed to be inside of that square. If you're like, I'm having a hard time, you can actually go ahead and cut down your boxes into 4 sections if that's gonna make it easier for you. And that way you can go into, make it even smaller and really focus on where exactly in those 4 boxes is that shape. But that's pretty much how you would do this, and you would continue it. And if you get stuck on anything, the goal is to go slowly. It really is. Sorry. Yeah, but anyways. So that's pretty much what this would be about. And then again, 1 square at a time. Don't try to draw the whole thing. Use this covering method to help you out. Heck, you can even go upside down if you want to really be able to accurately, like, just really to trick your mind so it doesn't think you're drawing Darth Vader, you're just drawing shapes, okay? If you guys have any questions, let me know, and then I'm here to help you out. All right, good luck.